Hi guys, this is attorney Gina Diaz and I am here today to talk about how you can make lots of money fast through this process we call wholesaling. What is wholesaling? Well, wholesaling is basically when you have an interest in a property via a contract and then you are assigning that interest over to somebody else that wants to take that contract off of your hands. In the meantime, you make lots of money. One of the most important things before you even get into like, oh my God, how do I do this? Is you have to have the right contract. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of disclosures that need to go into place when you are going to wholesale a contract, because at the end of the day, you're basically taking this and giving it to this person, and you're the person in the middle collecting this. So why doesn't this person just go directly to this person and cut you out? Well, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you're the one that found this person. You're the one that found the person that is going to sell their property to you because you made that connection with that person, right? So you've already negotiated the price. You've already talked to them. You've already convinced them that you are going to help them and that you're going to help them take this property off of their hands and they're going to make X amount of money. But you already did your homework and you know that this property can be worth this much to somebody else who may want to take it and either keep it as a rental or fix and flip it or even like keep it as a home, whatever they decide to do, right? How do you avoid having this person, what we like to call the end buyer, going directly to them, cutting you out, and then giving more money to the seller and them keeping more money, thereby you're left with nothing? How do you prevent that? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that you always have the right contract. Having the right wholesaling contract is super important when you are talking about doing a wholesale, yet alone running a wholesale business. If you don't have the right contract from the beginning, you're going to flop and you're going to be left with nothing. And these two are going to have all the money. So your hard work should be rewarded. And you should make sure that it is sealed via the right contract. One of the most important things to have in a contract is always have some sort of consideration. One of the mistakes I see wholesalers make all the time is they say, well, I told them I wasn't going to give them any earnest money. While the seller may have agreed with that and been okay with it, if they want to cut you out later on and you try to go before a judge, the first thing the judge is going to say, well, this is an unfair deal. You were basically trying to take advantage of them. You had no skin in the game. There was no consideration. 3 of the most important things that make up a contract is 1, when you have an offer, 2, when you have an acceptance, and in between, you must have some form of consideration. So please, anytime you are doing a contract, especially if you're the wholesaler, make sure you lock it in by having some form of consideration. $1, it's still consideration, but I wouldn't even go there. I know some wholesalers that do $100. I would make it something serious, at least $1,000 or more, because if you ever have to go before a judge, it doesn't look like you were trying to take advantage of the poor seller. Second thing that you must do is make sure you put your disclosures. You have to disclose that you are a real estate investor, that you are planning or may plan on assigning this contract. The reason why you want to do that is because, again, if this person goes directly to this person and tries to cut you out of the middle, you go before a judge and the judge can see, seller, nobody was trying to take advantage of you. It was clearly disclosed that this person is a real estate investor and that he or she may assign their interest via wholesale to this other person who now is trying to cut you out of the deal and keep all the money. So keep your money secure and get the right contract all the time. Protect yourself as well as making sure you're protecting the other 2 people. Another thing you always want to do in a contract is make sure you specify what you as the wholesaler is going to be responsible for versus the potential end buyer. This is very, very important. If you're not sure if you're going to assign this contract or you're going to do a double close, and we'll talk about the difference between those in another video, make sure that you specify what you, the person, the wholesaler, the one putting the contract together, is going to be responsible for. For example, if you're saying buyer to cover all costs, who is the buyer? Are you the buyer or is the person you're going to get the buyer? Be specific. If you say, I, so-and-so LLC will cover the closing costs, then it doesn't matter if you assign it, double close it or not, you're covering the closing costs off of your assignment or wholesale fee. If you say buyer's covering the closing costs, when you get your end buyer, make sure you let them know you are covering all the closing costs. I'm getting purely my assignment fee, which is the best way to do it. Now, if you do a double close, that's a little bit different, and we'll get into that later. Another important thing to do is to always make sure that you don't make it one-sided. If you make a contract one-sided where it's only protecting you and it's leaving the seller out, in the event the seller wants to walk away or someone else comes and offers them more money and you try to record this contract, it's gonna look very unfair and very uneven. Go before a judge, you're gonna get taken out. So always make sure you have the right contract that's specific for a wholesaler. A wholesale deal is very different than a regular transaction. I see wholesalers making this mistake too. Here in Illinois, we use what's called the 7.0 contract. They use the 7.0 contract for a wholesale deal. Don't do that. Get a wholesale contract. It covers everything you need to know. There's a link on the bottom. We will have a wholesale contract specific for you with the state of Illinois. And you can pretty much use it anywhere, but I would always check with your state as to the regulations and the must that a contract would have. But just remember the three things: offer, acceptance, consideration. Make that consideration real. Don't try and get off with $1. Although it is consideration, it can easily be thrown out. If you get yourself a good attorney, I will get it thrown out. So make the consideration worth somebody's time. If you like this video, make sure you guys register here. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and watch the next video so you can tell the difference between a double close and an assignment.